Ugh, another blind date.
Welcome to the 4 Degrees of Black. Tonight I will be the moderator, and I go by the name Watu.
And it's me, your boy Pat.
It's your boy Invincible.
And this is Verbally Unspoken.
Alright, guys, so on tonight's episode, the topic is going to be something different. Originally, I said it was going to. I was thinking to myself that it would be what exactly is separation between church and state, but I don't want to do that. Tonight I was with Lionel Williams from 3LWTV and Jake Jacobs, and also the producer of Anacostia. For you all who don't know about that, please watch the show. It's on YouTube as well as Vimeo. We were talking about first dates and expectations from first dates, as far as, you know, the person sitting across the table from you when you're at the restaurant. So I'm going to ask you, Mike, what is or what should you expect from a first date? And is it wrong to even expect anything?
I usually don't expect anything on a first date, especially if I've never met the person or I don't really know that much about the person that I'm sitting across from. I think that's kind of what makes a date interesting, when you go into it with no expectations and then you're surprised with whatever is said, or, you know, if you discover that there's some commonality between the two of you, or if there's, you know, a lot of stuff that you guys have in common or something like that. So I don't ever really have any expectations, with the exception of respect. I expect you to respect me. That's the only thing.
Okay, how about you, Pat?
I think it would be wrong to go into a date with expectations, other than the fact, like Mike just said, as far as respecting somebody. But then again, it just depends on what type of level you hooked up with that person with. Because if you met that person, let's say off one particular website, BGC or whatever, and y'all been talking about, you know, all this sexual type stuff, it's only natural for somebody going to the first date and continue to talk about whatever conversation you had on, you know, that particular website or whatever the case may be. So for me, there's no expectations. I don't expect anything one day when I do go on a date, I won't have any expectations.
And last but not least, Morris.
Question for you before I go directly into my answer, because I got a little bit to say. When we talk about expectations, are we talking about, like, not only personality, but like everything inclusive on that date for expectations?
It can be, you know, personality, sexuality, you know.
Just period expectations.
Are you expecting long term or short term? Yeah, period.
All right. So, first date, right? My thing about expectations, and this goes across the board with people from family on down to a new date. Expect nothing, that way you won't be let down. Any kind of expectation gives you room to hang yourself, and then you become disappointed. So I try not to go in with expectations, like someone said earlier. Only that way, if things happen greater than what I expected, then yay, whoopee, date number 2 is on the way. However, no expectations and it's awful, then I see you at the club. Or if Pat said he met you on BGC, he'll see you on BGC.
No, I didn't say that I was going to meet somebody off BGC.
Okay. Well, this is how I feel about it. I think we all may say that we go into a date without any expectations, but in reality, we all do. Me personally, do I go into a date with expectations? Yes. Like Mike said, I expect respect, top priority, and 2, if we've made it that far to a date, I expect you to be able to hold a conversation with me. I expect you to carry your own weight at the table when we have conversation, because I am about to drill you. Because I expect to be dealing with a person who is going to have goals and aspirations in their life. And I say goals and aspirations because no, not necessarily am I going on this date with you looking to find a long relationship that may turn into, and I'm not even going to entertain that one, marriage. But
Go DC.
yes, go DC. Um, but yeah, I think it, for you not to go into something with expectations, just to twist it on y'all. If you go into something without expectations, it's like, are you not wasting your time?
So let me go ahead and interject right here, my good friend. There are such things in my life, Morris A. Singletary, which are called qualifiers. Qualifiers get you to the point where you can get a date. Qualifier, you will be able to have a conversation. That's not an expectation, that's a must. Qualifier, you will be well versed on some kind of subject outside of Beyonce, Rihanna, and Sierra. Qualifier, you may not be close to reaching your goal, but you will have one to reach. Qualifier, you will have some understanding of life because I have understanding of life, and that means we'll have something that will, there'll be some commonalities between us. Therefore, no expectations because qualifiers have been met. Again, that's just personal.
And just to piggyback off of what Morris said, it almost seems like with what you described, while it would be something more like a blind date instead of a I've known you at some point before we got to this point. Because if you meet somebody off or wherever you meet them at, or a friend hooked you up and you talk with this person, then y'all decide to go on a date, you already know, or you should already know, those things that you mentioned.
Well, I say this because I don't believe in, if now, I'm not going to sit here and act like I have not dated people off the internet, because that I have at one point in time, but I don't do it now. But I just find it, even when you meet people in person, I find it better to go on a date, because you can find out more when you have that one-on-one period. Even if it's a blind date or meeting you online, I don't believe in sitting and talking on the phone for hours and days. Like, that's just a waste of time to me. I'm going to meet you. We're going to sit down. We're going to talk. I'm going to read your body language to see if you're lying to me, because a lot of people like to tell you what you want to hear and make themselves sound better than what they truly are. So I'd rather use the date as the qualifying interview, as Morris says.
You can sit down on a date with somebody and they tell you lies after lies after lies. And you can read their body language and you can see whatever it is that you want to see in that person, but they are still lies. So I don't.
But if I can read that you are lying to me, then
But some people are really good liars.
No, you can't. You're not a good liar with Watu.
Can I touch it right there? In the city that I live in, which everybody likes to abuse and talk about how bad my city is, let me go ahead and talk about some of the people in my city. And yes, I'm about to lay it down on the line. There are professional liars out there. And not that you are always going to get duped on, but there are liars who have perfected, God bless their hearts, the art of what to do, how to do, and where to do it at. And I meant to put the preposition at the end of that sentence. Thank you, teachers. So, yes, it's amazing that we're having this discussion now, because I just had a conversation with someone yesterday about the representative that we meet when we begin to date people. Y'all know that representative. When you meet them at first, they talk in baritone, but then 2 weeks later, they talking in soprano when they answer the phone. Or, they listen to Gucci Man when you first met them, but now, and no shade to the Mariah Carey stands, but it's nothing but Mariah Carey. I wanna know. Right, we can't find Gucci Man because it was a CD that was borrowed by a friend who made it. Touch your neighbor and say he's right. These professional liars can make your expectations so sad. Because you will go in and they'll play it for a good 3 weeks. Maybe 4. But 3 weeks max. And what's going to happen is then you go from representative to 0. And you like, what? You know, and so I understand about sitting down with people and everything else. But I just think it's better if I give you enough ropes for you to hang yourself. And you really don't, but you pull me in.